Ever get that feeling like when you see a really long word and you just have to try and say it? You know those words, they just go on forever?
Well, that's what we're diving into today. Those super long, jaw-dropping words.
And you might be surprised, these words, they're more than just a bunch of letters strung together. They actually have some pretty interesting stories behind them.
So we're talking about the longest words in the English language. And we're using this article from the Berlitz blog. It came out earlier this year in January. Right off the bat, they mention this crazy long word, the chemical name for titin. Have you ever heard of this one?
Yeah, it's practically famous in the world of long words. I mean, it's a whopping 189,819 letters long. Imagine trying to read that out loud. It would take you about 3 hours. That's longer than some movies. The article even said it's like what your cat would type if it walked across your keyboard.
Right. But here's the thing. It's not usually considered an official longest word.
How come? That's so strange.
Basically comes down to whether people actually use it. And let's be honest, unless you're a scientist studying proteins, you're probably not throwing that word around in everyday conversation.
That makes sense. So what word actually holds the title then? If that one's out of the running.
That honor goes to a word you've probably heard before. Pneumo-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
45 letters. That's still pretty impressive. What does it even mean?
It's a lung disease. Basically, it's when you breathe in tiny bits of volcanic dust. That's the silicovolcano part. And these little particles get stuck in your lungs, causing inflammation and scarring. We call that silicosis.
So it's like a very specific type of silicosis then.
Exactly. And as intimidating as the word sounds, it makes sense when you break it down. Each part tells you something specific about what's going on in the body.
Okay, that's actually kind of cool. But here's the kicker. This giant word, it was actually invented as a joke.
It's true. It was coined by the president of the National Puzzlers League back in the 1930s.
Wow, so the longest word in the dictionary was just someone messing around. That's amazing.
And it just goes to show that language can be playful. It doesn't always have to be so serious. There's room for humor and creativity, even in the dictionary.
Makes you wonder, though, how do you even say that word? Numan, it's like a tongue twister.
Yeah, it's a mouthful for sure.
Yeah.
But the trick is to break it down, like anything that's kind of complicated, like this. Numino-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
Okay, yeah. I see it. I see it.
It's got to find those syllables.
Oh, wait.
And if you really want a challenge,
Yeah.
really want to try it, the phonetic spelling is Numino-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
It's almost beautiful in a way. Like, listen to it again. Pneumonotromahicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. You know what? Actually, I think I'm going to need to hear that again, but like by a real person. I bet the article has links to videos, right?
Yeah, for sure. We'll make sure those are in the show notes so you can go and check them out.
Awesome. Okay, but pneumona, whatever it is, that's not the only ridiculously long word out there, is it? I bet there are others.
Oh, there are tons. The dictionary's full of them. Like, how about hippopotamonstrosusquippedaliophobia?
You're making that up.
Nope, it's a real word. And it means a fear of long words.
Get out! That's hilarious! No way!
And we can't forget about everyone's favorite. From a certain movie with a magical nanny, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
I can practically hear Julie Andrews singing it right now.
It's amazing how a word like that from a movie can just become part of the language. Like everyone just knows it. And speaking of words, everyone knows flatulence-nihilification.
Okay, that one I don't know, but it's
Yeah.
really fun to say.
It is. It rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah.
But you've got me thinking, now we've been talking about these super long words, right? Lots of syllables. But what about the longest single-syllable words?
Ooh, yeah, those little guys. Never thought about that.
They deserve some love, too. And one of the top contenders, according to the article, screeched. 9 letters long.
Screeched. Huh. 9 letters, 1 syllable. Wild.
It's joined by other 9-letter giants like stretched, strengths, scratched.
I never realized there were so many. Although, okay, the article does mention this word strumpfed, 12 letters long.
That was a bit of an interesting case. It's from French, actually, the word for Smurfs. So whether it really counts as English is, well, up for debate.
It's like a visitor from another language. That's kind of cool. It reminds me that English is always changing, always picking up new words and sounds from all over the place.
Exactly. That's what makes language so interesting. But you know what else can be super long, besides single words?
Place names. Don't tell me you're going to make me pronounce one, aren't you?
Maybe. But first, are you ready for a trip around the world to discover some of the longest place names out there?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. Hit me with it. What have we got?
Okay, how about this? There's a town in Wales, and it's called Llanfair Quingel Gogarich Wyn Drobwell Anticilio Gogagach.
You're kidding, right? You're making that up. That's not a real place.
I promise you it's real. 58 letters long.
58. Oh my gosh. Okay, what do the locals call it? There's no way they say the whole thing every time.
That's a good question. I'm not sure, actually. I imagine even a shortened version would be pretty long, though.
Yeah, that's true. Just imagine having to write that on an envelope.
Or spell it over the phone. But if you think that one's a mouthful, get ready for this. There's a hill in New Zealand, and the name is 85 letters long.
85. Okay, you got to tell me this one.
All right, so it's Tamata Wakatakanga Hanga Kawau, Tamata Kuri Pike Ma Oronukupo Kaiwin Wakitana Tahu.
I think my brain just melted. Okay, how? How do places end up with names like that? Seriously, it's like a whole sentence.
Well, these names usually have a history, like
Yeah.
they mean something. They come from the languages and the stories of the people who live there.
Yeah.
For example, that 85-letter behemoth we just tried to pronounce, it's from the Maori language, and it basically tells the story of a guy who played a flute on top of that hill.
Wow, that's actually really cool. So it's not just random sounds. It's like each name is a little piece of history from a different part of the world.
Exactly. And it's kind of amazing, like
Hmm.
we live in a world where everything is so globalized, but these really unique, really long place names, they're still around.
They're still holding on. They're like linguistic superheroes. So what you're saying is I need to get myself a map and start planning a trip, right? To go visit all these places with crazy names.
There you go.
Yeah.
Although you might want to brush up on your pronunciation skills first. Speaking of which, the article we mentioned, it has links to some videos of people actually saying these words out
Oh,
loud.
I need to see that. Especially that Welsh town name. I can't even imagine.
Oh, it's impressive. And there's another video. It's this 7-year-old kid, and he spells Nuanol Sran Microscalvolcanoconiosis like it's nothing.
Get out of here. This kid's going places.
Well, after today's deep dive, I am definitely going to start paying more attention to long words. Who knows what other treasures are hiding in the dictionary?
That's the thing about language, you know? It's full of surprises. And there's always something new to discover.
So true. Well, that's it for our deep dive into the world of long words. From the dictionary to the atlas, it's been quite a journey. We'll catch you next time when we explore, well, who knows what linguistic mysteries await. Thanks for listening.